goes live and you can order it, I will drop that link underneath this video, but needed to create something that shared how it actually works so I can get that printed in the book, apple before the horse, car, the horse, you know what? Doesn't matter. All that matters is that we're creating something special. So I created these power hour sheets because I have ADHD and it's really hard for me to constantly go into my CRM. I get distracted and then click on another tab, so on and so forth. And in that space, it just got really difficult for me. And I've always done better with paper and pen. It's sitting in front of me. I can write, I can move, and it makes my life just that much easier. So I wanted to take a minute to show you what I created. It's going to get printed, and I'm super excited about this, but also to see how it works and how it can help you along the way. So let's go ahead. Let's share my screen. Whoop, here we go. Okay, so as you can see here, there are a ton of pages. There's actually about a little less than 300. So I think it came out to 276. We have a place like This Book Belongs to You, the rule of 1 to 1 million. And then it breaks it out by month. And I intentionally made sure that they weren't named months. So you can use that as at any point in time, but also just to keep it consistent so you can reflect back after a half of a year. So each month has an image, and after each month, you will also find these pages that we will dig in deeper to. But at the start of each quarter, there is a quarterly planner so you can fine tune where these dollars are come from. So let me be very clear that this planner is to help you sell more. Uh, we like to think, especially when we're building a brand, that everything's pretty and everything has to get done, but there is actual tangible work that leads to clients. And this is the work that I do every single day in order to grow my business. So when you open it up, like I said, you'll see This Book Belongs to, and then you'll actually see the QR code to this video. So if you bought the book and you never known that this video existed, you do now. And for those of you who are wondering how to get the book because you watched this video first, don't worry, I will link it down in the description as soon as it is available. So we're going to actually start here. And we'll go back and forth between these, but this is the rule to 1 million. So that means focusing on having one target market, one product or service that you are moving that target market towards, a conversion tool, so something that converts them into clients. That could be for me, it is my Brandmuta brand breakthrough audit, a video audit where I look and go over all of the digital touch points that somebody may have and share with them how it is or is not helping them reach their goals from a brand perspective. Then if we have the ability to know how to convert folks to our product or service, then we need to have a source that we lead them from. My source happens to primarily be LinkedIn. However, I do have additional sources, but I have had time to grow those sources. It's really mastering one before you move on to the other, and then doing that for one whole year. And when we do it this way, it allows us to fine tune and keep working towards improving these things without us being all over the board and honestly creating that confusion in our own brain. And I say this every video, but when you confuse, you lose. And that's just something that we don't want to do. So when we take a step back and we focus on this is a space where you can write what those things are and always have it to focus on. Then you'll have something motivational for you here. Big things often have small beginnings, so it's a place to start. And we move into our quarterly planner. So when we look at this quarterly planner, I like to break up my annual goal into fourths, and I will write down what that quarterly goal is. And then I divide it by the average service cost. So for me, if we are using this as a means to type, and real quick, I'll just put some text on here. I'll be sure to delete it. Let's say my quarterly goal is $20,000. And my average cost, which all these are made up numbers, so please bear with me. My average cost is 5,000. Then if I divide this into that, the answer I would get is 4. So I would need to make 4 sales in order for this to work for me. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger because that looks tiny on my screen, so I'm sure it's tiny on yours. But my goal is 20,000 and my average service is 5 grand, then I need to sell 4 of those. Well, if we divide 20,000 by 3, which of course I had to go pick a number that is not very easily um not very easily divisible, so I have to pull out a handy dandy calculator. Should have said like 21,000 to make my life simple. $6,666. Lovely. And some change, but we're just not going to worry about that right now. Okay. So we're going to have that for each of these, and we're going to just fill those in. Then that means really 1 month I would need to sell 1. And then the next month I would need to sell 1. But let's be real, one of those months I need to sell 2. Okay. So that allows for you to just be very tangible to know that it's not that wild if we know what our numbers are. But in order to get to this 4, I need to know how many people I need to have as qualified leads, those folks who do get that brand new to brand breakthrough. And I need to know how many of those came from outreach, because out of all of this, the one thing I can super control is how many people I reach out to. Now, there is the law of thirds, and everybody's numbers differ. But for the sake of a planner, I decided to use that law of thirds in order to be the most robust. So, and which makes this oh so easy. Um, since I only need to sell 1, I am going to multiply this by 1.33. Now, 1.33 is going to make this pretty easy math because, well, not by 1.33. It needs to be by 3. Excuse me. Some days I get a little too smart for my britches that I do weird things. So that means that this is going to become 3. I need to have at least 3 qualified leads for a third of them to convert. But in order for me to have a third of them convert, I really need to reach out to whatever 3 times that number is. So duplicate this. 3 times 3 is 9. Then weekly, I can actually start to divide that by 4 and figure out what my weekly number is. Now, my quarterly goals are a lot higher than 20K. This was for easy math that ended up not being so easy because when you divide by 3, very few things are easy. But the point that I wanted to make here is finding the space to know what those numbers are, because sometimes we get so panicked and we feel like, oh, I need to do all these things. I need to post here. I need to do that. I need to do this. But at the end of the day, we really just need to know what our numbers are. And when we know what our numbers are, then we can go ahead and move accordingly. Now, I could post every single day, or I could just go find an event that is going to have a room full of my ideal audience, go speak, and get 3 qualified leads from speaking. Does that make sense? And then I might just need to reach out to 9 event hosts to get 3 of those events to make that happen. And I will probably overshoot my goal. But it's this intentionality of understanding, going back to what is my road to a million? And in this instance, my conversion tool is speaking from the stage, and my lead source is the audience members from there. But if we know what our numbers are, then we can start taking decisive action to go meet those numbers. And that is a big reason why I created this planner. So after we figure out what our quarterly numbers are, you'll see that at the start of every month, there are these 2 pages. And the first page is really really just writing down what is the number one problem that you solve and will consistently speak to this month. It's having that one message, that one problem that you solve that makes it very easy for people to remember what it is that you do and how you solve it and will come to you when the time is right for them. You can control what you speak about, you cannot control others' actions. So it's very important that you control your message and speak to one problem at a time. And then it's also important to know, why is it important to you? So taking the time to share, why is it important, but also, why does the world need you to solve this problem? And when you do that, it's going to start to light a fire in you and move you towards the right direction. Because to be clear is to be kind. It's not only kind to your audience, but it's also kind to you to know exactly what direction you're going in. And it makes it easier on you to really have that robust acknowledgement of where you're going. Then the next 2 pages have this on it, but for each week, you set 3 intentions that you will complete this week and then 3 wins from the previous week. So you can honestly, winning begets winning. And if you can look fondly at what was positive, you can move forward with the same level of gratitude. Um, and that is what I do on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis in order to grow my business. And I have it in so many places that one book is where I needed it to be. I'm a notebook person, and I know you can't see me because I'm sharing my screen. But if you ever look in the backgrounds of my videos, there are notebooks. They're not just for decoration, they are actually assigned a role in my life. And I'm very excited to add this one to that pile. So if we scroll through, when you open up the book, you will see that there's this page and the next page. They will live right next to each other. I'm going to close this for the sake of distraction. But you will see that I will focus on 25 dream clients. And the goal here is to note that this could take you longer than an hour. Okay. And it's okay if you have the time to give longer than an hour. By all means, please go for it. You should be taking actions to grow your business. But if you do not have longer than an hour, get done what you can get done. But always start on this page first, because this is the most important thing. So I will get down my top 25 dream clients, and I only write them down if I actually reached out to them. So reaching out to them could look a variety of ways. Sometimes it's just commenting on their content on LinkedIn, and I need to hold myself accountable for that. Sometimes it is hopping on a call with that person. Sometimes it's DMing that person. The point here is that you made contact somehow, some way. Okay. And when you make contact somehow, some way, that counts to write it down on this piece of paper. Then I reach out to, well, for me, previous podcast guests. But since I know that this will be used by people other than myself, I wrote down referral partners. So people who will refer business to you, who you like to partner with. If you do not have those folks yet, not a big deal. Just know that it's a place where you can grow and it's an opportunity, and you will make it happen. And then the next section is past clients, checking in with them. The cheapest marketing that you have are people who have already worked with you. And in that space, you want to ensure that they might not have a need, or maybe there's somebody you can introduce them to, but they also are folks who will refer you because they can speak directly to what you have done for them. So, very important that we interact with them as well, and a space to connect with them there. Again, that could look like commenting on their stuff. That can look like um, talking to them over the phone, shooting them off an email, whatever that looks like for you. Then the second page is where you can put what the date is, but also what collaborations do you want? Like, what collaborations do you want to create? Do you want to work with MiniChat and have a code to be able to drive people to use their product? Do you want to collaborate with somebody in your industry who has a similar niche as you, but does something different that complements what you do? Figure out who those people are. And again, we are DMing, commenting, and or hopping on a call or email with this person. Podcasting is the cheapest form of media that you can achieve. So going after podcast hosts and connecting with them in all the ways that I just mentioned. And then dream media. Do you want to be in Cosmo, Vogue Business, Girl Boss, Forbes, Business Insider, whatever those look like? Looking for the people who are editors in that space, connecting with them and starting to build that part of your business too. As great as influence is, it is important that we take decisive action on growing our business and sales first. So that is why we start with sales. And I would be sure to say that is behoove of you to always start with the sales portion and not move on to influence until you have completed task one. Then we have thoughts for thought leadership. So, writing, making any written content, any research you need for that content that you wrote. Video creation, I like to go live daily. So, that is actually how I build all my videos. Otherwise, I'd spend too much time thinking I needed to edit them. Done is better than perfect. And scheduling any content. I schedule content once a month. My content plans are very robust, but that's a story for a different day. And you don't have to get all of it done. It's just there. So the days you do get it done, you can check it off of your list. And then looking out your outreach, if we go back to that outreach page before quarterly planning, we will just take our monthly divided by 4. Any that you failed to do the week prior, we are going to add that to this number. And that is going to give us this week's number. So if our outreach number was 9, I got to be sure to delete these later. If our outreach number was 9 and we needed to divide that by 4, which is going to be 2 and some change, we're just going to say 2.25. There's no such thing. So, excuse me. So 2.25. But let's say I didn't do mine last week. I was on vacation, which is a good place to be. So now this week I need to reach out to 4.5 people. There's no such thing as a half of a human, so we're going to just round up. And we need to do 5 outreaches this week. Wow, this person's like got it going on. Most of you are going to have much higher numbers than this. That is okay. But easy math for the sake of this video. I didn't want it to go on too long. So that is what a week looks like for me. It makes it super easy because it's right there. It's in front of me to the right of my desk. And that is how I personally plan out my weeks. It's how I have gotten to consistent 15K, 25K months and beyond. And it's all because of the intentionality. And I know that I will honestly go even further now that I have a tool that I can write this down. And I wanted to share it with everyone because, like I said, my best friend said I had to. So please enjoy. This is the Champagne Clientele Business Productivity Planner. And it has changed my life. I know it'll change yours. And honestly, just the impact that you want to create. So as soon as it is available for purchase, that link will be below. But if you are interested, let me know in the comments. I'll be sure to, it lets me know that I need to get on it and get it to you. And then as we proceed, I will also create a group where we can hold each other accountable and be able to grow together. Because at the end of the day, all of us women, if we had more economic power, we would literally have our world in a much better place and closer to peace as we would love to see it. So hope you guys all have a beautiful day. I will go live again today on a different note, but here's to being brand extraordinary, and I will chat with you all